Hey everybody, welcome to Chemo's Kitchen. We are coming to you now from London, England. So I ended up with my wife traveling to see our good friends in London, and we are carving out chickens so we can make a ramen broth. And I figured why not turn this into hopefully an educational video for you all on how to actually carve a chicken. So here we are, let's get started. So first thing you want to do is use a mat that you can throw in the dishwasher because it's more hygienic this way and you don't have to worry about any residual salmonella or germs or anything on your wooden carving board. So I always use something plastic or something I can throw in the dishwasher, right? So this is it. The nicest and easiest way to secure one of these things on the counter is using a wet paper towel, right? So I've got the sink behind me. I'm just gonna wet the paper towel, lay it down, and then just put the mat on and push it down to secure it, and you'll see it doesn't move as easily, right? So this is a safety tip for when you're using very, very sharp knives. Or actually, it's really a safety tip when you're not using sharp knives and you need to use sharp knives because it won't, you won't kill yourself or you won't bleed all over the counter, then you need to go to the hospital. Not something we want to do. So here we have a whole chicken, okay? So I'm gonna open up the packaging, right? Making sure I don't get the paper on the counter. So I can just take the paper, fold that, and throw it right in the trash. So this chicken came from a butcher. It's a beautiful chicken. You can see the little chicken legs over here. That's kind of a nice touch. I wish they had the chicken head too. That's fun to see. But a lot of people are kind of grossed out with the chicken head. It's already trussed, which we will do another video on trussing a chicken. So I'm just gonna cut the chicken, the kitchen wire off. Just take that off the chicken completely so that we can start carving this bad boy. Okay. Now, you need a carving knife. This is what a carving knife looks like. It's not a chef's knife. It's a, sorry, just sharpen this. It's very thin blade, but the way it's shaped allows you to kind of get in and around the chicken to carve it in the most efficient and effective way, right? Unfortunately, my buddy doesn't keep up with sharpening his knives. So I did my best to sharpen this thing, but it's not fully sharp. And you'll see what happens when a knife is not fully sharp. It's just gonna take longer to carve the chicken. So why would you want to buy a full chicken, a full bird, and carve it up yourself? Number of different reasons. One, it could be cheaper, right? Two, it's a really cool skill. Three, it's fun, maybe. But I typically buy these full chickens, carve them up when I'm making stocks, and we're gonna do another episode on stocks as well. I don't like buying cut up chicken. I like doing everything myself. You'll realize the theme throughout all these videos is I want to do everything myself from scratch, right? So I want to teach you the skill. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not a professional chef, but I have done this a few times that I can get around the chicken. A professional chef would probably say this is 90% good. It's as good as we're gonna get at home, really. So that's fine. So the first thing we want to do is take the thighs off, right? So here we've got the breast, and you'll feel it. This is the breast of the chicken. These are the thighs, and obviously this is the back of the chicken where the spine is and the bone. And you've got your chicken wings here. We're gonna carve everything, right? So first thing we're gonna do is lay it on its back. And I hope you can really see this. I'm gonna try and tilt this so you can see it from the camera. So what you want to do first is take the chicken thighs off. So what I do is, what you want to do is cut along basically where the thighs connect with the rest of the body of the chicken, and that's going to be the easiest way to cut it off. So first I'll hold it where the drumstick is and see where the drumstick sort of connects with the breast, and this is where you're going to start cutting off the skin. And as you cut off the skin, the chicken's going to start to sort of come apart, right? And just keep going. You're not seesawing. This is why a knife needs to be really sharp, because you just do one clean cut. And then when you get sort of towards the end here, you can just press down and you can hear sort of where the two bones meet, they'll break. Turn it over. And I know this is really, really hard to see on camera, but I'm gonna try my best. but where sort of the bones meet is where you're gonna cut off, right? So it's gonna be right here. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to see. And sometimes we kind of need to do this to break it a little bit more. And then you'll see where the bones cut, and then you just kind of cut along. Man, really difficult chicken here. Here we go. And this is where the bones are. We're just gonna cut across. If you have a sharp knife, it'll just do that very easily. And there you've got your thigh. Now, sometimes you want to cut your thigh, sometimes you want to have, sorry, your leg, you want to have your thigh and your drumstick. So a lot of people kind of go in different ways and then they cut through the bone and it's a mess. The easiest way to remember where to cut through, whether it's cooked or not, is if you see where, you see this line here of fat, this is where the fat sort of accumulates around where the two bones meet, right? And that's the line you want to use to cut. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to follow it with my knife and just go down, and you'll see where these two bones meet. That's where the fat line was. Just follow it down exactly and just cut it through. Right there. Again, apologies, the knife is not sharp. I am going to have to instruct my friend on how to sharpen knives so that he has sharp knives at home. But look at that, you've got a beautiful piece of drumstick. Put that away, and you've got a nice piece of thigh. Now, if you want to sort of grill the thigh, if you want to, you know, roast it, you want to make it a little clean. So there's basically some extra fat around here. I'm going to keep this fat because we're going to use this for stock, and this kind of provides a little bit more gelatin in the stock. But you can just cut this off, right? So you've got a little extra fat right there hanging. You can cut this off. You want to make it look nice. All of this, you can just basically trim this any which way you want. So you can have, you know what, I'm going to do it for you so you can kind of see what a nice sort of carved thigh looks like. There we go. Here we go. Maybe this piece off as well. Give me just a second. There we go. Look at that. And now you've got a really nice looking piece of thigh that you can grill, you can roast, you can do whatever you want with it, and it will come out looking beautiful. All right, so that's a thigh. Let's do the chicken wings, right? So again, where the chicken wing bones meet the body is where you want to cut. And actually a chicken wing you can just sort of try and break. This one kind of broke this guy here, with the two pieces of the chicken wing, and that's fine. But I really want to kind of get here, right? So basically make the cut, follow the lines, and you'll see where the bone sort of meets the chicken thigh bone. I mean, the chicken wing bone meets the body, and that's basically where you cut, right? Super simple. Let's do the other side so you can kind of see it again, because this is, honestly, it's kind of the hardest part to kind of get. But again, here you've got your wing, here you've got your breast, and this is where you need to cut initially. Cut the skin off so you can kind of see around it, but this is where the bone's going to meet, and you can feel it too. So just kind of keep cutting through, and it's usually closer to sort of the breast than it is to the thigh, so don't be afraid to kind of go in a little bit, because this is where, effectively, this is where we're cutting right here, if you can see that, right? So just find the bone and find where it kind of connects. Make your cuts in single sort of lines. This one's a little tricky. Yeah, actually it's, and just sort of cut it through. And when you make single lines, actually, the bone's actually right here. Where you make single lines, just makes it look cleaner. And it's easier to see what you're doing as well. But again, where the bones meet, that's where you need to cut through, okay? All right, I'm not gonna do the other thigh, but what I wanna do is show you how to cut the breast off. Now, what if you want a boneless, boneless, skinless chicken breast? So lay it down on its back, right? you've got one breast, you've got sort of a piece of bone running through the breast. This is the breastbone here. It's running through, separating the two breasts. What you want to do is cut right along where the bone is, right? So just cut the skin off, right? And it will separate. Now, grab the breasts, right? And pull it towards you. And the breastbone sort of sits behind that breast and it goes all the way down. What you want to do is get as close to that breastbone as you can and just sort of in single cuts, just kind of cut the breast meat off and get it off the bone, right? So I'm gonna hold it here, I can feel it. So I'm just gonna make, yep, and that's where it is here. Just gonna make cuts as close to the bone as I can. And just keep moving down and keep pulling it. As you make a cut, sort of take that piece of meat and kind of pull it towards you. And you're gonna cut right down the breastplate. Go all the way down. I hope you can see this. And you've got your breasts. Look at that, right? Check this out. You did this, right? If you follow along, you can do this at home. This is not, really, it's not difficult at all. Cut off the extra little meat there, the skin, and there you go. Beautiful. Yeah, better than a manufactured piece of chicken that you get at the store. Do it yourself. It's fun. Okay, shall we do some more? Let's get the, I said I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to do it. So let's get this other thigh off just for reinforcement. We're cutting along where the thigh sort of meets the chicken, the breast, and then we're going to sort of put some pressure, sort of separate the bones, and then where the bones separate is where we're going to make our cuts. And actually it's going to be right here. And there you have it, right? Now remember, to get this guy, the drumstick off from the thigh, follow where the fat line is and make that cut along that fat line, right? It's gonna look and feel weird because it's not sort of intuitive to do that, but that's really where you need to cut. And you'll see that you're cutting right in between the bones. The knife falls through, cuts through very nicely and cleanly. And here you have your thigh, and here you have your drumstick with a little leg on it. Love that. See, I love getting chickens overseas because you get all the parts with it, and it's fun. Okay, one more time on the breasts. So we cut this breast off, now we're cutting this breast off, right? So here's the breastplate, you can see it, right? This piece of bone here. So unfortunately, this chicken is not as stable, so I'm just going to do my best. And this is why you need a sharp knife, is so that you're not, I don't want to see you seesawing through this. I want to see one clean cut at a time. So we are just going to do our best to separate this meat from this bone. It's not very stable, but that's because sort of I need to get this part off here, the back plate. But I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm going to take the rest of this carcass and throw it in the stock. Okay, one more time. Now, my chef instructors probably tell me I need more practice doing this, and they are not wrong. You can never practice enough. But I would say they probably give me a grade 85, 80 maybe, 80, 85. There you have it. Super simple. Sorry about the camera angle. I can't put a camera on top of me, which is what I need to do. But we're trying to do our best with what we have. But here's the rest of the carcass. I'm gonna cut off all this extra fat. You need some gelatin, but you don't need all this garbage. So just cut off, leave a little bit on, but cut most of it off. That way it's nice and clean. And we're gonna just take this carcass and drop it in the stock pot and make a stock. Hope this was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the camera angle, but try it at home. Send me some comments. Let me know if you have any questions. But it does take practice. So just remember, you're always cutting in between sort of two pieces of bone where the connections meet. That's where you're cutting through. Look for the fat. That's where you're gonna make your line. Simple clean cuts, super, super sharp knife. Actually, a very sharp knife is much safer in the kitchen than a dull knife. Because you're just going to make a clean cut as opposed to trying to go through a number of times and it slips, and then if it slips because you're using pressure, that's where injuries happen, right? So don't do that. Make sure you have a very sharp knife to do that. Hope this video is not too long. Hope it was useful. Again, comments, questions, and happy carving.